Okay, we're going to get right into this right now because it's such an important topic. And I'll tell you, when I mentioned on Twitter yesterday that we were going to be talking about teenage anxiety and stress, it blew up. It just blew up. Everybody wants to talk about this. Unfortunately, people aren't talking the right way, it would seem. So we've asked Michael Reist to come in. He's been here before. He's an education expert, former teacher. He's a counselor and an author as well. And let's talk stress. Let's talk anxiety now that all the students are back into school right now.
Welcome back. Good to see you. And it's so important to address this now so everybody can perhaps detect the early signs and prevent them from getting even worse into the school year as we go.
Absolutely.
So how do you know if a student has a problem as a teacher? Are there signs?
Well, the biggest issue I find, is parents need to realize the first week of school, stress is a normal thing. So there's normal stress, and that's part of life. The next kind of kid we need to talk about is the highly sensitive kid. There are some kids who are just highly reactive. They feel things very strongly. If you have a kid like that, you need to understand their nature from a very early age, and those kids are going to need a lot more guidance and coaching. But the one situation I want to talk about is the kid growing up in a home where their self-esteem, their value as a person depends on their performance. We live in a very competitive society, and kids are going off to school this week and they're feeling this great sense of pressure, this make it or break it. Your marks in grade 1 will determine your entry into Harvard, And where does that stress come from? It comes from parents. So where I want to, just kind of mention put the conversation a little bit on parents, are you stressed? And if you're stressed, your kids will absorb that stress. So take it easy, parents, roll with it. Your value as a person does not depend on your performance. There's you and there's your marks.
And there's a lot more stress on kids in high school, university, and college now to perform, more than ever before, because there's such a competitive workplace out there right now. And how do you as a parent sort of differentiate between telling your child you need to do well and you need to do well because we paid a heck of a lot of money for you to be here?
What is the language we should be using?
The language we should be using is, I honor your choices, honor the nature of the child, let the child take responsibility, let the child take the lead. As parents, we feel that we solve problems when we're doing the talking, when we're talking at the kid. We need to do a lot more listening. Kids need to be listened to. They need to grow up in a home where they know they can always open up to mom and dad and talk about the things that are bothering them. And on that issue of talking, I also want to say, we have this idea that if we don't talk about something, it'll go away. And, we're going to get on to suicide, and today we're talking about suicide on the program. And I find a pervasive attitude that if I just leave it alone, maybe it'll go away. If I talk about it, it'll make the problem worse. That is so far from the truth. All the research shows that talking is the solution. And we need to create a home environment where kids are free to say what they want and they won't be judged for what they say.
What if you don't have that in your home environment? What if you don't have that support? If a child, a teenager, anybody at home right now dreading going to school, or perhaps something's happening at home, where do they go?
Excellent question. Well, we have the tradition. We have Kids Help Phone. Every region in the GTA has a crisis hotline and so on. There are lots of supports out there. They're institutional supports. But I deal with a lot of kids who are stressed and depressed, and I say to them, why don't you talk to your friends? Do you have a friend you can talk to? And you know what they say? They say they don't want to listen. And it's a byproduct of our social media culture where everybody's putting on this facade, everybody's, smiley, Snapchat, everybody's happy, everybody's good. I say to people out there listening to this morning, young people, if you have a friend who you suspect, you have a friend who doesn't seem happy, be open to them, listen to them. Receive what they have to say.
Are there other signs? And you bring up a good point. Friends, a lot of friends, and I got a lot of that on Twitter last night, was saying, I had a friend who committed suicide. I wish I would have known.
Yes. Yeah.
They're unhappy, all of a sudden withdrawn. Yeah. What are some other signs people need to watch for?
I think the main sign is social withdrawal. The other is the overuse of chemicals, the overuse of marijuana and alcohol. That, to me, is self-medicating for a symptom, and often it's a symptom of isolation and loneliness. Poor performance in school, but I think it's that socialization, over-gaming, escaping into other things
World.
to avoid your own feelings.
Okay, we are going to continue this conversation. It's too important to give a few minutes here. So Winston already has Facebook Live on. If you go to our Facebook page, he's going to take you off into the studio. We want you to go to Facebook because you can participate there, ask questions. The most important thing is talking about this.
Tell someone.
And remember the hashtag You Are Not Alone. It means a lot more than just a hashtag. Coming up next on Breakfast Television, I'm going to be talking to someone from Kids Help Phone that just released a study this morning that will blow your mind about teenage suicides and teenage suicide contemplation. And then she is going to come down and join you as well on Facebook Live. So we're going to discuss this. We have to talk about this. And I need those parents out there, and I know you're out there saying, teenagers, you know, so what?
It's hormones, it's moods.
No, it's not. This is a real, true problem, and it could be affecting your child. Don't you want to know if it is or not? That's the bottom line. So we're going to talk more about this on Facebook Live and here on Breakfast Television. We'll be right back. You are not alone.